Hi there. In this month's blog, we're going to be talking about back injuries. We have a new and refurbished page on the site relating to back and skeletal injuries, and so we want to give a little discussion about that, hopefully to help people who've suffered a back injury so that they can understand a little bit more. Back injuries are interesting because while on the one hand, certainly as a society we have learned medically quite a bit about them, there is still, unfortunately, quite a bit about them that we do not know. And what the doctors don't know is very often the least discussed aspect of medical care. So let's talk about back injuries in general. Most back injuries that result from a fall or car accident or the like are soft tissue injuries. And soft tissues essentially refer to anything that's not cartilage or bone. So muscles and tendons make up the bulk of soft tissue injuries. And by and large, if you do suffer a type of, for example, a whiplash injury to your neck, that's a soft tissue injury, those usually will heal. And you'll be able to put your injuries into the past and move on with your life. That does not always happen, particularly if you have a more serious ligamentous injury. And we see these, for example, in car accidents where people are hit from the side because your neck has quite a bit of flexibility going up and back, the traditional whiplash, not enough to withstand the forces of a decent car hit, but without suffering injury. But from side to side, our necks have much less range of motion, and so when you have a whiplash that occurs in that direction, you can suffer a ligamentous injury. Ligamentous injuries are very difficult to heal, not all of the time, but much more often than just a muscular injury. A good comparison would be a sprained ankle versus a broken ankle. Sometimes a lot of people would wish for the break. The break in the bone is going to heal. We kind of have a pretty good idea how many weeks it's going to take. It's probably going to come back and heal if the fracture is not displaced or comminuted, broken into many pieces. It's probably going to heal flush with proper medical care to the manner in which your bones originally were. And while there may be some long-term effects, for the most part, breaks heal up more quickly and with greater security than sprains and strains of the tendons and muscles, which can take much longer to heal and are much more easily exacerbated. Going back to skeletal and back injuries, if it isn't a soft tissue injury, if you have an actual skeletal injury, you have a fracture, again, those can heal. In the back, though, they have a little bit more seriousness because of the relationship between your bones to the discs that are in between the vertebrae and the spinal cord, which your spine and discs are designed to protect. In fact, your muscles also are designed to protect. When we talk about what inflammation is, that's the muscle going like that around your spinal cord, which is a defense mechanism to protect the spinal cord. Why is this? Because your spinal cord transmits messages from your brain to your body and tells it what to do. If you break your neck, you can become a quadriplegic. If you break your lower back, you can lose the use of your legs. If you are someone who's had back injuries and you are finding that you also have symptoms that go down an arm and into the hands and fingers, or down a leg and into the feet and toes, that is called radiculopathy, and that implies that you have likely some body part, usually a disc that has broken or bulged and is now pushing against your spinal cord and affecting the transmission of messages and in fact causing you symptoms. These are very serious injuries, and they are, going back to the beginning of this talk, they are not understood as well as we'd like. For example, statistics show that if you take an MRI of somebody's low back or their neck and you find that there are objective things that could be causing symptoms, very, very often they are not actually causing symptoms. So most people of a certain age, as you get older, will have findings on an MRI, but you won't have had any symptoms. On the other hand, sometimes people have symptoms and there aren't any findings, and they don't know why that is. Because we like to be able to correlate things, but it just simply doesn't always happen because we don't have complete knowledge of how these things work. So the point of all of that is in the medical legal context, because there is a gap in surety, it allows these cases to be defended a little bit more easily by saying, well, we don't know what's causing it, and juries don't like to give money to people when they're not 100% certain that the accident caused the injury, even though that's not the standard of proof. And so that's human nature, and it's how these things work. It makes having an attorney who understands the medicine in this particular field important, because the more serious your injuries, the more value your case has, and therefore there's more to argue about, more to fight over, because that means the insurance company has more incentive to defend the case because they're trying to not pay out money on the big cases. That puts people who have unfortunately been most hurt in for the biggest fight. Thanks very much for listening. I hope this helped you understand your musculoskeletal spinal injury information better. And if we can help with your case, please feel free to give us a call. Thanks so much.